And I'm just waiting the notification now. Excellent. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record with the legendary Sijo Sabir Muhammad. This means so much to myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast that you would take time out of your busy schedule to come and give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, Big Black. How you be?
I'm excellent, sir. This people were teasing me in my circle because they was like, they know how I feel about you, and they were like, Josh has been working on these questions for quite some time for the part 2 interview, and I have. Yes, sir. Well, the first question that we want to know, sir, is we just saw on Facebook where you had your 84th birthday. How did that feel, sir?
Oh, brother, I circled the sun 84 times, brother.
Yes,
that
sir.
Is something because I have friends. I had friends, and I would say 97% or 98% of my friends growing up, they're gone.
Mm.
They went many, many years before my age, which is what my age is now, like 60, 64, 65. So Allah loves me, brother. I keep saying that. Allah loves me. He's keeping me here.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. And people are showing you love all across the country. My sister Naima says, Assalamu alaikum, family, alaikum salam, Naima. And we can't wait to put this on YouTube. And I saw you with around, of course, your children, your wife, but your grandchildren. How has being a grandfather, how does that feel, sir?
Busy. Wonderful, brother. It is really a pleasure to be a grandfather, to the grandchildren, and how I learn from them because they come up at a different time. What I learned and what they learn are different than what I learned in coming up. So you really have to be careful in how you handle them.
Yes, sir. Excellent. Okay, well, me and your son Khalid just spoke about, because these are some of the questions that we, of course, want to ask about martial arts and being in a nation and those questions. But I just learned that you were in a movie. Well, I knew that you were in movies before because I got a clip I want to show, but I didn't know that you were in a movie fighting with JJ. Can you let us know how that came about from Good Times?
Well, I had heard they were looking for someone that was a boxer. And as a young man, I did some boxing. And plus, I knew the martial science. So I went and applied for it. And he says, oh man, we would like to give him a part that some other guy got. But they said that, they said really I was too pretty for that part. I had to start laughing. I said, what do you mean? He said, we need somebody that's more rough and gritty, So they said, but we're going to give you a part, and you're going to fight JJ. And that's gave me the part. My part is I was sitting down reading a newspaper or a book or something when he came into the ring. And right after that, we started boxing, and he beat me up, brother. I have to admit that.
Yes, sir. I got to see. I can't wait to look at that. And thank you, everyone who's watching all across the country. I wanted to ask you, sir, speaking of the martial science, what went into you developing your own style? What went into that?
I would say Islam. When I went to Islam, when I first got there, some of the words that I heard was Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam.
Yes, sir.
That it can be proven. And I thought, and then later on, I heard someone speaking, and they said everything that comes into existence is through a mathematical code. And that kind of hit me. Well, if everything, then fighting has to have a mathematical code to it. And because of me thinking that, I said, now, in order to fight, you need distance, angles, timing, and targeting in order to fight. Because everything that we do all day long has that science in it, whether we remember it or think about it or not. Every time we move, we do distance, we do angles, we deal with timing, and we deal with the subject or the target in which we're going to pick up or move around.
Yes, sir.
And I must put that into my fighting science. So that's how that came about.
All praises due to Allah. Wonderful. And people are showing you love. Our brother Sharice say he's watching like Islam, his teacher. Praise be to Allah. Okay. Now, for people who want to train and study with you under your style, can you let us know what is the name of the martial science and how can people who aren't in Atlanta learn your style?
Oh, well, I have a gym at my home.
Mm.
Teach lessons from. And I have classes every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And they can call, you can give them a number.
The number is 770-560-9502.
Yes, sir. And Khalid, can people watch? Do y'all stream live so people can like look online who don't live in Atlanta?
Yes, we did have Zoom classes available.
Okay, perfect, excellent. And I have so many great memories with you, sir. But some of the greatest memories that I've had, I wouldn't say are with you teaching me how to fight or actually you're demonstrating the moves, but it's more of the understanding of how I fought, because I've been in martial arts, martial science since I was younger, but I never had an understanding the way you explained it to me. What went into you changing how we punch with this way instead of opposing the punches this way? Like what? How did you change your your style? Like how did you do that?
Well, when I used to fight, I didn't understand targeting. Like I said, distance, angles, timing, and targeting. I didn't understand targeting. I understood hitting him in the face or hitting him on the hitting him in the body, but I never targeted. Now I use a science that is called bone on bone.
Yes, sir.
The bone that is on your face, and any place from the head down to the lower body and lower body. So I attack the bones in those areas. And because I attack the bones bring a considerable amount of pain when you strike them. Plus, if you hit them at an angle of 45 and 90 degrees, you can break them.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter how many muscles he's got, how big or how tall he is. If you can hit him in the ribs, you can break them. And he has bones all the way around the body. It doesn't take much to attack the body and actually damage it. And when you fight someone, if you can attack them and attack them right, you can take everything away from him.
Yes, sir.
Everything away from him but pain when you hit him and you hit them right. And that science is what we teach in our science, but our science is called Kim Wing Tai Bak, which means Kempo, Wing Chun, Tai Chi, and boxing. I use Kempo for my base or foundation, Wing Chun for trapping in center line, Tai Chi for footwork and fluidity, boxing for hand speed and targeting. And I melt them into one fighting science. I can't do like they do in the movie. Oh, I'll use Kempo right now. No, I'll switch to Wing Chun. No, I'll switch to Tai Chi. It takes a lifetime to master one science. So you can say you took 25, but you cannot use 25 well. You have to learn. And besides, fighting is not a style or a system. It is a science for fighting.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, in our science for fighting, we have a mathematical science for fighting that can be actualized. Actualized means real, 100% true, accurate, and precise. And once you learn to fight mathematics and add water to it, your understanding of fighting is absent of doubt or fear. But the water language that you use in that, the ability, with the water language, you have the ability to flow, shift, change, and create, which is adaptability. You have the ability to seek, which is offense. Conform, which is counter offense. Seeking and conforming is your defense.
Yes, sir.
And along with that, you teach the student the thought of losing, quitting, or having doubt does not exist. In my head, in my heart, nor my weapon signs. If there is doubt, there is no doubt.
Allahu Akbar.
Make or find another way. And there is always, always, always another way. And the warriors must understand that. Male, female, and children must understand that. That must be given to them and put that in their heads. That when you given instructions, you carry it out 100%.
Yes, sir.
Accurate and precise. That is what they teach in Islam. That's where that information comes from. I've been changing the science of fighting for 40 some years now. When I came into Islam, that's when I started to change. When I heard mathematics is Islam. And I've been doing it ever since. And it never stops, Brother Josh. It
Yes,
goes
sir.
ever. The children that come after me, the young people that come after me, will be able to take this science, and I have no idea as to where they can take it. But I know that if something doesn't grow or move, it's dead. And you want a science that is continuing to grow. And we have that type of science. I always say that when I went into Islam, creating a science for fighting is a gift from Allah. And I honestly believe that, and I work at that every day. You know.
All praises due to Allah. Excellent, Sijo. Yes, sir. And thank you all, everyone who continues to like, share, and subscribe. We can't wait to put this on YouTube. We have many questions and we're learning, continually learn. I want to thank, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to take this time to thank you, Sijo Sabir, for your many sacrifices into helping establish Islam here in North America, and the sacrifice of your family as well. We thank Allah for you, your wife, your children, as well as your grandchildren. May Allah continue to bless you, sir. We are grateful for all that you have done and continue to do, sir.
Yes, sir. I thank you very much, my brother, for honoring me on your program. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The honor is mine. I wanted to take this time to say that I saw on Facebook, I want to go to the exact what Brother Sharif sent me. This time, I'm gonna put this in the chat as well on YouTube, as well as in the chat on Facebook, where there's a link that we're doing is giving a love gift, a love offering to our brother Sijo Sabir. And if you wanted to donate and send anything, a love gift, you can send it to sharifbkf@gmail.com. And then I'm going to put the link in on Facebook right now. And then you can also, I'm going to also put it on YouTube as well. For all the work that you have done and continue to do, sir, it's the least that we can do is to help make a donation to anything. But whatever you all can give, please continue to do so. I just put it on Facebook. All right. My next question for you is, you've trained brothers from, of course, all across the world and across the country, but LA and Atlanta seem to be the primary places for your students. Could you please get it on the record, including Khaled, who's one of your greatest students, that am I not your best and favorite student? Don't you think that I'm the best student that you've ever trained? I just want that on the record, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody claims Brother Sharif, Brother Allen, everybody wants to be your best student, Brother Marcus in LA. But I keep telling them I'm, whatever. It's all good. What I wanted to ask you, sir, is when was your first time meeting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? What was that like?
Oh, brother. I had someone, they found out that I had some type of martial science. And we were going down to, I think it was in, I can't remember what state it was, but it's not that far from LA, and they were having a little problem down there. So they asked me to come. And we went down there. They had a whole bunch of brothers there, but I was invited in the house with, at that time, I guess it was the E-team. It just wasn't called the E-team at that time.
Yes, sir.
Able to sit in there. And I had never heard the minister speak before that time. other than on tapes, never saw him in person. And I'm sitting there listening to him. And I was thinking about, man, where does he get that information from? How can he possibly be so wise in the answers in which he gives? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking for an answer. And while I'm sitting there, he's giving me the answers in which I'm thinking of. Say, man, why don't he say something about this? Why doesn't he speak about that? And he's giving me all that information. And when he got through, I said, man, I'm going to talk to him, But it wasn't like that, As soon as he got through talking and everything, he says, I'm tired. And his sister came and said, everybody get out. So we had to leave. But I had time, other times that I was with him. And I had a chance to be with him by myself. And the whole time that I was sitting with him, Brother Josh, he was constantly teaching and teaching. I went to him one time before they had all the information they have now, where you spoke on a radio or something like that. This was earlier in the 80's, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When I went to get him, he appeared to be very tired, and I could understand why. When we got to the station where we were supposed to go in, he went over and sat down, and he went into like a little sleep or something that he was in, and he was laying back. And they told me, they said, we're ready for our dear minister now. So I went over and said, Brother Minister, I said, they're ready for you now. And Brother Josh, when he started to raise up, as he raised his head up, you could see a light coming on, like coming into his face.
Yes, sir.
By the time he straightened up, I said, Brother Minister, are you okay? He says, Brother, I'm ready. I said, do you have everything you need? He said, yes, sir, I have Allah. I said, no notes? He says, Brother, I don't need notes. I have Allah. I said, yes, sir. And he started teaching. And the way he answered everything that was asked, I said, I'm thinking to myself, how can he possibly be able to give these type of answers? Then I remember he said, I have who? I have Allah.
That's right.
And when it was all over with, I asked him that question, how did you come up with all those answers? He said, brother, it wasn't me. It was Allah. I said, oh, praise due to Allah, brother. It's just amazing how beautiful our minister is. And in that, when I was working for him and with him, the pressure that was put on him was something that I don't think I could take. That pressure. And I've been to war. So if I say that I've been under some pressure.
Yes, sir.
In which he took on the pressure of a whole nation of people and more, and that's something. There are things that I would like to say that I won't say because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say those things. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, praise this. Yes, sir. Excellent. And once again, thank you for your wonderful testimony, and thank everyone who's watching. What's his name? It says all praise due to Allah. And trust me, everybody's going to show so much love to you on YouTube. I wanted to ask you, during this time, there's no Wi-Fi, no cell phones, and you're putting your life on the line for the most hated man in the world, the most unmissable target at the time, from the enemy of this, the enemy of our people and our rise. Were you ever afraid? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
Brother, when I was in LA, I had a group of brothers that I taught the martial science. Some of the language in which I spoke on the day, I taught them. I remember standing in front of the police, and we were getting ready to fight them. And the police, they moved back away from us because they felt that we were going to fight them if they were going to try to make us do what they wanted us to do. But there was a lieutenant and a captain that came back, and they asked me if I would talk with them. And I said, yes. But before I stepped out to talk to them, I kind of looked to my left, looked to my right, and looked behind. It was about 19 of us. And I thought to myself, yeah, if they want to fight, we gonna go, But when the two police officers came back, he came up and he said, our men had a feeling that you guys were going to fight us. I didn't answer the question, but I was thinking to myself, oh yeah. Oh yeah, but we had a group of men that we trained that were fearless. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That language that I spoke earlier about not being afraid, the thought of losing, quitting, or having doubt, all of that, I was trying to instill that in them, and they got it. They did not fear, brother. And they appeared, when you look at them, they looked like they were warriors. They walked like they were warriors. Their whole appearance was like a warrior, and people could see that. Brother Khalid used to be the Supreme Captain and everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He asked me one day, he said, have you looked at your men, Steve? I said, I see them every day. And I did. They were by my house or somewhere every day. I said, yes, I have. He says, have you really looked at them? And I said, yeah, I have. He says, come here for a second. And we got behind them and looked at them. And looking at them, he says, Steve, what do you see that possibly you've never seen before? And as they were walking, I noticed that they were in shape. I mean, you could tell 100% they were in shape. They had on suits and bow ties, but just the shape of their body said that these are warriors. You hear what?
Yes, sir.
All 19 of us look like that. So I could see why there was respect when we came around, and that they did not want to make contact with us. We carried the aura of what the minister says when they look at the FOI and want to fight them, they're looking at death.
Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir. Beautiful. And Brother Sijo, on that same note, I did an interview, multiple interviews with Brother Joshua Farrakhan, minister's son, and I asked him about you. This was like part 3. I sent you the clip, and he was saying that in the early days when he first saw you, anytime he would come to the West Coast with his father, that whenever he saw you, he said you were speaking very nice, but he said that those exact words. He said, I saw him and I saw death. I knew that he was nothing to play with. I said, praise be to Allah, that you had that reputation, and have that reputation of being just a brave warrior. I also wanted to ask you, what was it like working with, because I know you get tired of people asking you about Bruce Lee so many times, but we got to ask you, what was it like working and being around Bruce Lee?
Well, many people didn't know that Bruce and I were friends. He wanted to actually keep that way. He wanted to work with me to see the things in which I knew. And I wanted to work with him to see the things that he knew. But we never expressed that. And he said, what we do, Steve, is between us. And I kept it that way. I'm saying that now, but he was a very brilliant, and he had language that I hadn't heard before. He even had techniques and stuff that I had not seen before. But also I could say that about me. And he was older than me in karate, even though we were the same age. He started younger than I did. So he knew more about fighting science than I did. There were things that he learned from me. There were things that I learned from him. But we were good friends. And nobody really knew that because he says, between our friendship, we keep it among ourselves. And I did that. I'm saying something now, but up until, a few years back, I never said anything other than I know him. He's my friend.
Excellent. Yes, sir. And people are showing love all in the comments. Thank you, Brother Roosevelt. Saying all praise to Allah, pure history. And trust me, y'all, shout out to Brother Kente, the YouTube family, Sister Auntie, Brother Musa, everybody who shows love on YouTube as well. Twitter, TikTok. We can't wait to chop this up so we can share this to everyone who is watching. Also, make sure that we don't forget to show love to our brother Sijo. Here we go. I'm going to make sure that I give you all the email again. It's going to be in the comments as well. But Sharif BKF, that's SHARRIEF BKF @gmail.com. And we just want to make sure that we give a good love offering and show of love to our brother and his family for all the work that they have done and continue to do. I want to show a quick clip real quick, sir. I got to make sure it's 20 seconds so they won't say that on YouTube because they always try to make sure that everything is the copyrights and all. 1 second. Here we go. 1 second. There we go. I'm gonna show this to the audience of our brother. There we go. 1 second. Come on. There we go. There we go. There. Okay, perfect. Look at that. Look at Josh working technology out. Come on, come on. All right, here we go.
Double punching, ready?
Okay, great. I can't show more than 20 seconds, but y'all get the point. Our brother Sijo Sabir in the movie Enter the Dragon with Jim Kelly, and of course Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris and Bolo, who's one of my favorites. What was it like working on the set and for you to have the BKF logo that's behind you now in that movie that's been shown all over the world? What was that experience like, sir?
Well, it wasn't just the logo. That was an actual school. All the time, they actually used a physical school that belonged to someone else. It hasn't been done before, and it hasn't been done since. We're the only school where they actually had an actual school. That was my school. Those were my students that were in that school. So that's history.
Yes, sir. And was Jim Kelly nice? Was he nice to you and on the set in real life?
Oh, yes, sir. We were very nice to each other because we could both fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, now I wanted to come to your time in Atlanta. When you leave Los Angeles, you come to Atlanta. What was it like making the transition from LA to Atlanta as far as in the mosque setting?
In the mosque setting, it was a little different because in LA, I knew the brothers. I had a team, everything there, everything that the minister and the captain asked me to do, he usually came to us to get that done. So I had been used to doing things all the time. We were working. And because I had a team, I had men that knew how to do everything we needed to get done. Somebody could ask something and say, Steve, we need for you to do this. Do you know how to do it? I said, no, sir. He said, well, brother, how you gonna get it done? I said, I got 18 men to help me get it done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's, I would say here, I never got into building a team or doing anything like that while I was here. But I still think it needs to be done where you have a special team to be able to carry out whatever you need to have carried out, and men that can do that.
Absolutely. I wanted to speak about some of the many valuable lessons that you taught many of us, but specifically me and the drill team. When I first came to Atlanta, it was myself, it was Zach, it was Assad, it was Zeke, Kareem, all of the original people who was on the first, my nephew CJ and little Josh, and you would teach us, of course, the martial science, but you specifically taught us a formation where there was a U and then the big brother in the back, Could you explain to us the science behind that?
Well, when you have a lot of people that you're getting ready to fight, you have to find like a wall, and you move up against the building and you build a horseshoe.
Yes, sir.
The building will protect you from the back and from the sides. And you put the strongest guy in the middle and that can hit the hardest. And you put him in the middle. And what you do is when you fire on somebody, hit them or kick them, you snatch them and throw them to him. And he,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
he had to have the power to put them down and knock them out because he didn't have time to be back there fighting. So he had to have the power. But usually what we would do, we would sting him a little bit and hand him over to him so he could
Yes,
kill him.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What advice would you give to the younger generations about being consistent in their faith? Because you've been in the nation, been a Muslim for so many years. What has been like the key factor to you holding on to Islam?
Oh, brother, the love that you have for Islam, the love that you have for the teaching, you must have that in order to stay in Islam. Like, I'm not active now, but I love Islam. Brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If the minister called, he says, I want all my soldiers, I still consider myself to be a soldier. And if you put me up against a wall or something, from that wall, I can still chunk them, brother.
That's right. Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Yes, sir. And I wanted to ask you, there was a picture I saw on Facebook. I always send pictures to people when I see pictures of themselves, and I saw a picture of you on the wall on the mall of the Million Man March. What was the climate like leading up to the Million Man March, and how did it personally impact you?
Oh, brother, we had no idea that 1 million men, we knew we had to be there. And I was saying, man, there's got to be 40, 50,000 of us going to be there. I had no idea that even though the minister had called, I just didn't think that many men would show up. And I had been put inside the White House.
Mm.
I had been put inside the White House to guard the passageway in the door to where the minister was staying, you know, and the minister came out, but they told us to stay there. So being that I wanted to go out and just take a peek to see what was out there. When I walked out there, Brother Josh, what I saw was something that was unbelievable.
Mm.
As far as I could see, I couldn't see nothing but black men. And I saw on the side of the street where you could see back, I saw something moving, looked like it was moving up and down. It was hundreds and hundreds of brothers still coming to the event that we had that day, the Million Man March. And I have to admit, I let a couple of tears drop, brother, you know.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, you know, and it may never happen again unless the minister or someone like him, if there's ever going to be someone like him again, that can call for 1 million men and over 1 million show up, or almost 2 million show up. I was there. I saw that. I saw them coming. I saw them standing. I saw men walk across the big, like a pool, and meet each other, shake hands and hug each other. You know, just strangers that one get in the water, another would get in the water, and they would just walk out and meet each other and hug each other.
Mm.
I had not seen that. I had not seen anything like that. And I've been in the military where I've seen 10,000, 20,000 men go into battle, but never 2 million. That was different, brother. I didn't even know anybody in the military that could call for 1 million men to come at once. The minister called and 2 million showed up at the same time.
Oh, praise to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Okay, I want to stay right here because Brother Sijo always asked my father and many of the other FOI from you all's generation and time period, when you were going off to the May Man March, the propaganda, people are saying they want the minister dead, and you leave your wife, your children. What was your mindset like going into a battle, like to a fight? Because you don't know what's going to happen at the May Man March. What was your mindset like that day?
Oh, brother, I'm not sure. I think we took a plane. I think we took a plane there when we went. Some people rode on buses and stuff. But I think, if I remember right, we took a plane. But everybody on that plane, I believe, was a Muslim for that particular day. So I was like in heaven on and everybody was saying, well, this is an airplane that will never crash. We
Yes,
never,
sir.
because Allah got us. We're going to Allah's man now to defend him in whatever way we can. But I heard people talking. I heard people on the plane talking, saying, man, my wife made me come. My sister made me come. They were talking about various people telling them, you got to go. How can you not? And I was asking on the plane, I said, I wonder how their wives and stuff found out about it. And some of them didn't know, because some of them were saying, I didn't know about it. My wife told me about it. My sister told me about it. But undoubtedly they were listening harder than we were, because they came. And I know that the plane that I came on, there had to be 90-some% Muslims on that plane. And I said, man, look at this. And all the planes that were going out at that time, when you get to the airports or wherever, you could see Muslims everywhere. You weren't with them and you didn't know them, but you could see them everywhere coming through the airport, going to Washington at that time. That was something that made your heart, say, man, look what we have here. Now, we know what we have. What do we do with it? We have the man that is called for something, and the people are going. I just didn't think they were going to come in the manner in which they did. And that was shocking to me, because I've never seen 2 million Black men in one place at one time, not even in the military.
Yes, sir. All right. And speaking of family, I want to make sure I know we have on the record, who are your parents, sir? Like, what is your father's name, your mother's name?
My mother and father, my mother's name is Blanche, Blanch. My father had initials, which meant something, but it was never spelled out. And his initials was I.C. Sanders. Slave name was Sanders. We had 16 names in our family, same family, but because being sold to different slave masters, they were changing, like the William and Baylock and Sanders, different names. So we found 16 different names before we found that we couldn't go back any farther. We went back to about 1600 and something that where before that, they put us in the same category as like cows and horses and animals. So they didn't give you a name. They only said male negress, whatever the name that they had given us back then, female negress, and like that, but no name. So we're supposed to go back at that time.
Yes, sir.
Is that you asked me?
Yes, sir. I want to know your parents' name, because we want to know, like, where you came from. Yes, sir. I wanted to know, as long as you've known me or watched me grow up, I've always seen you be married. Sister Sabir, you all been married for quite some time. What has been the key to your being married, sir, for so long?
Listening to your wife. So, I'm just kidding. But not really kidding, but I'm kidding. No, you have to be able, I would say, to sit down and talk with each other. And Sister Tynetta told me one time when I was up in Chicago, my wife said something to me and she yelled at me when she said it. Sister Tynetta wasn't far away. and she could see me. I kind of backed up and leaned up against the wall because I couldn't say anything that would probably be right, so I wouldn't say nothing.
Mm.
She came over. She says, "Brother Steve, are you okay?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she could see that look on my face didn't change, even if I said, "Yes, ma'am," and tried to smile at her. And she told me something really that I never forgot. She says, "Go and get your wife and take her upstairs. And when you get upstairs," she said, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. She said, "Go over, sit down on the floor. Have her to cut and sit down with you on the floor, but sit her in between your legs, you know." And she said, "Start to caress her."
Mm.
And I found out right away, you cannot caress a woman and stay angry with her.
Mm.
That was a teaching that she was given to me then. You can't stay angry. And actually, from doing that, I actually forgot about the whole thing, you know, that from just caressing her.
Yes, sir.
Sister Dinetta, a beautiful and wise woman, told me that. And it does.
Great advice. Yes, sir. Okay. What advice would you give to future fathers, sir?
Brother, I would say hang with your children as much as you can and teach them what you have learned about Islam and how to actually serve. Because if you don't teach them those kind of things when coming up, they will not know how to serve.
Mm.
And some children now, when they walk up to you to give you something, they'll look the other way and just stick it out. You know, you're supposed to look at someone that you give and make sure that they take it from you or you put it in their hands. And the children won't do that unless you teach them how to do that. Teach them how to serve and teach them how to love each other and teach them how to love people who look like them. Not saying that you can't love other people, but teach them that first before anyone else. Then allow them, if they choose to make a choice, to love someone maybe a little lighter than you, but
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we have a few more questions for you, Sijo Sabir, and thank you very much for your patience. We have one more. We had a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. Hold on 1 second. I want to make sure that we continue to, and thank you everyone who is showing love all across the country. We're grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Hold on 1 second. Boom. But I wanted to ask you one more. This one I wanted to ask you. Get small. Okay, yes, sir. There we go. Okay, I wanted to ask you about, we spoke about being a father, but I wanted to know about your favorite. I was very close, well, you know, with your son, well, you know, your family, but aside specifically, and I just wanted to know your favorite memory about him, sir.
I would say that Khalid decided to put some gloves on with me one day. You know, he thought he was big enough now and strong enough to put some gloves on.
Yes, sir.
We went downstairs and we put some gloves on. And we were going at it. I was checking and counting a lot of stuff, but not hitting him hard. He said to me, he said, "Pops, am I hitting you? You're telling me you're hitting me or not?" He says, "I really can't because your hands are getting in the way, so I can't tell if I'm making contact with you." I said,
"Yes, sir."
He's doing it. And I started making contact with him. And he said, "Pops, I can feel yours. You can feel mine." If I can't feel me hitting you, and I can feel you hitting me, then I'm not hitting you.
Mm.
And later on, I want to tell you about college too. College tried too. I want to let you
yes,
know.
sir. No, let's hear about college right now. Yes, sir. Your favorite college story.
Well, we were down there. It'd take college to really tell you. But when we were down there moving around, and when we stopped, Khalid actually came, not Khalid, but Assad came into the door. He looked at Khalid, you know, he was kind of breathing a little bit. He said, "Oh no, don't tell me you did that too, brother." But he got handled too, brother. I want to let you know, Khalid got handled, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we all have great memories and great stories, and with you and your family. And it's always great to see you all and see that Khalid. Did you know when you were training Khalid that he was going to be following your footsteps as far as being in the martial science? Did you know when he was younger?
No, I did not know, but I tried to handle them in a way and let them take karate. At one time, my whole family was taking karate.
Mm.
They were very small at that time, and back in LA. When they came out here, they were a little bit more busier than when they were in LA. I could take them to school with me and train them at the school that I taught. But out here, it was different. They were more active out here doing things for the nation than they were. So I didn't have a chance. But Khalid, he stayed around a lot longer, I would say, in taking the martial science than the rest of them did. So he learned a little bit better. Khalid,
Yes, sir.
he's
and yes, sir. And shout out to your son Khalid for carrying on the legacy of the martial science. And every time I see most of the time his brother Jabbar or others share the videos of him, I say he looked just like his dad. So all praises due to Allah. Brother Sijo, we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors, and then we're coming right back to our brother. One moment.
And film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Kenneth's Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties anywhere across the nation. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon.
Thank you, everyone who continues to like, share, and show love to people's podcasts. Brother Sijo, will you ever write a book or memoirs about your life?
I've talked to some people about that. So yes, I hope that in the very near future, I'll have an opportunity to do just that, because my life is really something because of the time in which I was born. 84 years around the sun is a long time. So that meant that I was born at a time where there was still slavery at that time. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to actually talk about it, you know, if someone wanted to hear that.
Yes, sir. And I mean, that's some extreme strength, Brother Sijo, that you came, you know, did you ever experience that during that time period? Did you experience racism or no? Did you experience racism?
Oh, yes, sir, brother. And well, we lived on a plantation that was ran and owned by a man named Mr. Boyer. And I never saw money. I would think when I left there, I must have been around 6 or 7 years old. I never saw money. They didn't even teach money in school. So I never saw money. How we bought stuff was they gave you a little book, like a book that you put stamps in.
Yes, sir.
$1, $4, $10, $6, $20, and they would give you stamps back. if, you know, in return for the stamp. So we never got money. So it meant that you couldn't leave because you didn't have money. And I consider that now to be a slave. In order for us to get out of Kansas at the time that we left at around 12 midnight, maybe 12:30 at night. And the way we got money to be able to move from Mississippi was they sent it to some people that we knew that was white in Mississippi. They brought the money over, but they bought us tickets. And the money that was left, they brought it to the house. So that night we went and got on a plane about 12:30 at night and was able to get out of what was it? Indianola, Mississippi, without being caught. Because if we had been caught, we would have had to go back. I don't know what they would have done to us.
Joseph Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Okay. I definitely didn't know that, Sijo. My God. So once you're in LA, how did your family and friends feel once you accepted the teachings of Most High Elijah Muhammad? Like, how did they feel once you became like joined the nation?
They had no problem because they could see a change in me from what before. I mean, in my skin, my attitude, the way I felt about Black people in general. You know, I always loved Black people, but I loved them when I came into the nation.
Yes, sir.
My mom could see all that. When I went home to visit my mom, we would usually go as a family. They would go out and party. And I never went out with them when they went out and party. My mom said, "Wait, you don't like to party?" I said, "Mom, I don't party anymore." She said, "Well, why not?" I said, "Because I've been told in Islam, if you're going to party, I have a party. There is a way to party. The way that they party is different than the way that I'm taught in the nation." And my mom told me after a few years, she when we went to visit, she said, and my father, he says, "Whatever you're doing, Steve, you continue to do that. It is good for you. And we can see that the way you deal with your family and the way that you deal with people that are around you, someone has taught you something that is very good, you know." So she said, "I don't know anything about Islam," but she said, "You do." And she says, "Right now, even if I tried to change, I'm probably too old to change now. But you continue to show us how it is supposed to be done in dealing with your people and your family." And I said I would do that for her.
Praise be so alive. That's beautiful. Okay. Procedure, I had a question. So the attribute Sabir, or the name Sabir, the attribute is means patience, correct? Or patient?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I wanted to tell us, I was telling somebody the other day that when, you know, we was very young and there were some very intense situations going on in Atlanta, and you were mediating a situation one time where it could have went bad between, you know, the young brother, you know, drill team, and with fights and things of that nature. And I saw how you guided the whole situation to avoid any bloodshed or any fighting. Were you always patient and understanding in, you know, your instructions or guidance, or did that something that grew over time?
I think that with my mom, from being around my mom, she taught me something about patience. But I would say coming into the nation, because there were brothers in there that was very aggressive with their mouths. They didn't really know me. And I used to think, he's talking all bad, break his face. Thinking about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And because I was so humble in that way, but they didn't know. When I came to the nation, I wasn't that way. If you wanted to be aggressive, I would be aggressive. But just going into the orientation class and listening to them and telling them about loving your brother, loving your sister, you know, loving Black people, all that changed me from being aggressive when they say something. And I found that I could take words when I had a hard time before that. and taking words off of people. And I fought a lot coming up with the people that I was around a lot. I saw the same people all the time, because sometimes we'd have a difference and we would fight. And there was this one guy that started beating me up when I was about 6 or 7, I think it was, when I moved to Topeka. And he would slap me on the back of my head. And one day I told my mom, I said, open the door for me. You know, she opened that door and I shot out that door. I was gone, man. He couldn't catch me. He
Yes,
chased
sir.
to grade school, middle school, and high school. I would always avoid him,
Mm.
you know, until I got out of high school. I got put into the Marine Corps, and I came home. And this guy, I had a girlfriend, and we went to like a little recreation center that we have in our neighborhood and stuff. I was there with my girlfriend and dancing with her. He came up and tapped me on my shoulder. This is a guy that beat me up all the
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He tapped me on the shoulder and I turned around and looked, and I had to look up to see his face. He had outgrew me by about 2 feet.
Mm.
And that feeling of being afraid came over me. Now I was in the Marine Corps. I just came home on leave from the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That I had been taught in the Marine Corps. He just pumped me out just by being that big and in front. And I had a friend that was about 6'3", 6'4", and he came over and said, "Mr. Man, you got a problem with this guy?" And the guy said, "I don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with him." And my friend knew I'd fight, so he said, "Take it outside." He started yelling, "Take it outside." I go outside, Josh, with this big guy, and we took our jackets off. I had went from about 145 to about 165. My first leave of coming out of Marine Corps, I had put on about 20 pounds now. So I was kind of buffed a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so we go outside, and I found that we started to fight. He couldn't hit me, but we had been fighting for about 15 seconds, and he was going, really tired, you know. So I said, "Oh, this guy can't be tired. I just got out of boot camp, so you know I was in good shape."
Yes, sir.
I started trying to get in close to him and hit him, but I wasn't hitting hard enough to really hurt him. He swung at me and skated over the top of my head and almost knocked me out cold. Stumbled around until I got my head back together. And we fought for a little bit more until they stopped it. But I had hit him enough where he just laid down on the ground. He just couldn't fight anymore. It wasn't that I picked him up. But I never had another problem with him. And everybody was talking about how bad I was. And I was thinking, that guy almost killed me. So that wasn't a good place to be. But I actually enjoyed growing up in the town that I grew up in, because I grew up very good in
Yes, sir.
in Topeka, Kansas. And it is a place that I'll never forget. And even though it was racism there, it wasn't like Mississippi. In California, there was racism here too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As a police officer, I experienced that through other police officers that didn't like Blacks. They were on the So I experienced all of that in coming up. I experienced the military. I experienced being a police officer, and I experienced the martial science. Those are 3 things, and it comes in 3s because the number 3 is trial.
That's right.
That put a trial on me in actually growing up. And I've learned from each one of those. It's been from going to war to being a police officer and learning the martial science. So it's something I'll never forget. Yes, sir.
All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay, well, Sijo, we have just two more questions for you, and thank you everyone who's watching. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. I wanted to ask you about what type of music do you listen to? Like, what do you do to unwind? Like, what do you do for fun, sir?
I like them oldies but goodies, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother Sharif turned me on to them, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I like, still like old stuff like Aretha Franklin, James Brown. I also like rap.
Okay. Okay.
Anytime rap come on, you got to pat your foot or stomp your foot or do something because
Yes, sir.
it'll wake you up.
Okay. Yes, sir. And I had another question for you. This is my second to last question. I saw your granddaughter drilling at Savior's Day and calling. How how did that make you feel as a grandfather to see your legacy on stage, drilling at such a small age?
Oh, brother, when they brought it back, they let me see it. I thought I was at the place where they were drilling. I was, come on, son, and my grandsons too.
Yes, I was coming to them next. I was gonna say they won, so I was gonna come to them next. Yes, sir.
Oh,
To see him as the DI, how did that feel?
oh yes, sir. That was Ijaz.
Yes, sir.
We had to get him to do that because I don't think he really wanted to do it.
Mm.
He impressed me because he was very strong when he first started speaking. I didn't know who he was. He changed his voice totally. And so naturally I have to yell out, that's my grandson. That's my
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. I was very impressed with them and Atlanta as a whole when I was rooting for them, and it was good to see them win. Our last question that we have for you, Brother Sijo, I just want to make sure we give it one more time. People saying, Michael Hicks saying, great interview. Thank you. Can't wait till we put this on YouTube. I want to make sure that we're going to put the link in there for everyone who is showing love to our brother Sijo Sabir. You can also email SHARRIEFBKF@gmail.com and make sure that we show love to our brother and his family, our brother Sijo Sabir, for all that he has done, doing, and will continue to do, inshallah. Yes, sir. Brother Sijo, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
I would like to lead a martial arts school, but also a martial arts science for fighting. Even though my science for fighting is known throughout the world, they've never seen it in a way in which they actually understand it. And like I said, it is a mathematical fighting science that has the ability to speak a water language of pure fluidity and natural freedom. And you need that in order to fight. And in that science, you have to have that, which is distance, angles, timing, and targeting. You must have what you call brain sight. You see with the brain. And most people, if you ask them, what do you see with, they'll say the eyes. But I asked them, I said, everybody that argue with me and say, no, you see with your eyes. I said, not really, you see with the brain. I said, how many fingers do I have? You'll say 2. I said, your eyes can count, or did your brain tell you it was 2? He goes, oh, well, the brain told me it was 2. I said, yes, when you fight, you have to be able to see, but you have to be able to identify. You must be able to respond to any and all movements. And to be able to do that, the body has to be able to shift instantly. That is why Allah gives the brain the average speed of 24 billion miles per second.
That's right.
We have no idea as to how fast the human brain or the human body can actually move, but it can move at a speed that is unbelievable, that will make you think, I threw that punch and I didn't have to think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It doesn't work that way. In order for your body to move, you have to be able to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and sense one of those entities have to come into play. Otherwise, you don't move. Ever been somewhere, you stop and you're thinking about something. Everything around you, you don't hear anything because you're concentrating on something that you want to concentrate on. And how is the brain able to do that? Even though that noise is there, how does it close it off where you can't hear it because you're thinking?
Yes, sir.
Are you looking for your car keys on a desk and you look down because you haven't told the brain what you want? The car keys are there, but you can't see them. You see everything, but you see nothing until you tell the brain, I'm looking for my key. And you go, oh man, how come I didn't see them? You pick them up. So that's telling you a lot about the gift in which the Creator gave to you. And I tell the students, you have the ability to fight like a god.
Yes, sir.
And you do, see? But we don't know that. But someone needs to say that to us. And like he says, ye are gods, children of the Most High God.
That's right.
I made you in my image and in my likeness. You can't get any better than that. What can you be other than a God?
That's right.
A God, you know?
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Okay, but Sijo, thank you for your patience. But we got to ask one more question. You worked, I was speaking with Kyle earlier about working with Wesley Snipes, as well as working with some of the choreography dealing with the Blade movie. Could you let us know about that?
Oh, yes, sir. I had a wonderful time with Wes. I stayed with him for about 10 years. And became very good friends within that 10 years. And he would ask me, he would say, I'm doing this type of technique. And he would say, what do you think about it? And I'd say, that's a good technique. Add an elbow in this, rather than this thing into this position, add an elbow into that rather than say a hand movement with a finger flick or something. And he started doing that. So the people that knew our science for fighting said, man, did you teach, they call him Blade rather than Wesley Snipes. Did you teach Blade any of those movements? I said, oh yeah, he always asked me to show him some movement. So yes, that was me in there.
Excellent job. But yes, I just want to let you know, Sijo, that I love you, and I'm very, I'm honored that you would take time to come on the People's Podcast, and that you were always been, you have always been kind to me, my family, but specifically the youth in Atlanta from the time of the youth movement to now. You've always been kind, and with someone who knows what you know, I just don't. You're so humble. Like I've never seen you get excited or be loud when you walk in the room. You just be quiet, and I'll just be like, y'all don't know who that is over there. So you've helped me learn how to be very humble, and in the room. So I appreciate you for being humble and being kind. May Allah continue to bless you and your family, and thank everyone who's watching. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. Thank you, brother Captain, brother Sijo. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, Big Black. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure we show love to our brother Sijo. So.